this is all a double bluff. And hear me out on this, okay? This could have been a phantom pregnancy, and there could have been the use of a moon bump. And of course, that's something which we continue to want proof of and want Buckingham Palace to rule in or rule out one way or another. Because, of course, if the children were born that way, it would mean that Archie and Lily were no longer to be allowed in the line of succession. Developing today, Meghan Markle's shock new royal health dig that sources say she is saving for a bombshell new book intended to be an autobiography to raise more cash and spill the beans on her unhappy marriage to Prince Harry. This revelation from Matthew Acton, the UK tabloid reporter in Radar Online, who breaks the news that Meghan Markle is apparently haunted by the royal family's insistence her first child underwent a disability scan before birth. Now, can I just say that in the United Kingdom, that is complete standard procedure? Okay, so the idea that in some way Meghan Markle is being treated unfairly by the British royal family here is a joke. But of course, she has a victim narrative. We knew that she was saving up these digs at the royal family, and here's the first to come. He reveals Meghan Markle is haunted by being forced to test her unborn baby for disabilities on orders from the Queen, due to the royal family's shocking hidden history of children with abnormalities. Radar Online can reveal the Duchess of Sussex had to endure, oh, poor woman, testing for chromosomal abnormalities before announcing she was pregnant with her first child, Archie. It is now regulation for pregnant royals to have children tested for abnormalities due to the royal family's little-known history of having disabled children. As also revealed, all women in the royal household must submit to this test now. Many of the royal households of Europe are very closely related, so the gene pool can be quite shallow, which can increase the chances of abnormal children being produced. Even though Meghan was a non-royal, that didn't change the fact she had to get tested. The source continued to claim Meghan wasn't happy with having to submit to it, but it was non-negotiable like most traditions in the royal family. She hasn't talked about it yet, but she will, as it haunts her so badly. But she's so haunted that, listen to this, she's keeping this one up her sleeve maybe for her memoir. So Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, Prince Harry's biographer, this is nuts. I mean, this is literally grasping at straws now to try and suggest that the royal family were in some way targeting her as a result of the first cousin marriage tradition. That's not true, Angela. This is just standard medical procedure because they want to make sure that all royal births are as healthy as possible. And Catherine would have had to go through exactly the same thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. She was 37 when she gave birth to her son. Now, that is quite old in terms of having a baby. And so they were bound to test absolutely everything. Can you imagine if they didn't do that to Meghan deliberately because it was Meghan? And then she would say, why didn't they do it? Why didn't, they did it on purpose against me. So she'd rather have that so she can make a huge fuss than actually have all the examinations and be fine. I mean, George V had lots of geriatric problems and in his child, and so it was very difficult to help this child get over it. And now, I mean, although the medication is fine, you have to sort of make sure that your child is going to be okay, and they can do things in the womb that save an awful lot of trouble and pain and anxiety if you let that happen. I mean, that's typical her, isn't it? I mean, she does keep saying all these things, that they deliberately didn't give her son a title. Well, they didn't, because King Charles was, Queen Elizabeth was still alive, and they don't do it all the way down. She just looks for trouble. She's absolutely looking for trouble. She can't stop moaning, and here's another moan. And if she does this, people will be laughing because it's just absurd. Any mother would know that that's what they have. And I don't believe she wasn't told. Of course not. It's well known. They're not trying to hide anything. I think she's just looking and think, oh, maybe I can get away with this because she is very stupid at some things. So she thinks she's going to win everything and she doesn't. This is another one. Absolutely not nonsense. They made my life hell because they made me take these examinations. No, they didn't, dear. They made you safe.
Angela, I'm going to put one other theory to you here. I think there's the possibility that this is all a double bluff. And hear me out on this, okay? Because do you remember Meghan actually refused to use the hospital that was usually used by royals and refused to use all of the normal medical staff? And there was all of the weirdness over the timing of the birth of Archie and a whole load of suspicion, which we have covered in detail before, about the fact that this could have been a phantom pregnancy and there could have been the use of a moon bump. And of course, that's something which we continue to want proof of and want Buckingham Palace to rule in or rule out one way or another. Because, of course, if the children were born that way, it would mean that Archie and Lily were no longer to be allowed in the line of succession. Now, Angela, for Meghan Markle to craftily put out a story like this, suggesting that she was submitting to all of the disability scans and the medical testing that the British royal family wanted before the birth, it's a good way to put people off the scent, isn't it, when it comes to some of the other questions? I'm just saying, Angela, call me conspiratorial, but I just want to put that out there.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I think she can do anything. All her life, it seems to me, is that to destroy. And she destroys with very, very small things, or she changes things, or she's upset about something, and then she quickly changes it. She's somebody else then, then she's crying. And then she's not really crying for everyone. She wants the cameraman to take her picture. So, dab, 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 it's not real. She can just do that because she's an actress. And I think she does these things to get attention. If only she can get attention 24/7. That is terrible. There we are. Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah. And Angela, there just happened to be a damn photographer there in front of her, didn't there?
Just happened. It's always coincidence when she happens to be somewhere. There's a photographer there. Oh my goodness, because she doesn't like pictures. She wants to be left privately, and Harry certainly doesn't. And then, whoops, up they jump. It's all phony. She's very careful, and that's why we have to be very, very careful that what she ever does, she plans it very carefully, very, very carefully. It could be an interesting story she's making that absolutely has no beginning and no end. It's just because she wants to have attention and she wants to be seen as someone amazing and in the front line. There we are. Look at that. Isn't that, why does he want to do that? Because she wants it. And who cares if she wants to have a little tear, so what?
Totally. But that's why, Angela, I'm just posing some questions about this story because I don't trust her. And absolutely, that was fake crying, Angela. And when you're using your friends and the loss of their son to do a one tear, left eye, go and start crying, it's like, oh my God, you're plumbing to such depths. We can have a look at that, actually. Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes.
We're at Soho House, Toronto, which is basically TIG headquarters for me. I write my stories here, I take my meetings here, and it's kind of amazing because all over the world, if I'm traveling, Soho House can still be home base.
Don't make yourself cry. Yeah. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
And she was having a wonderful time, and she was pretending. You can see for 10 miles that she was not really meaning anything. She kept organizing pictures in a line, and she was always in the middle. This is not somebody who really cares. She was walking over land that had been burnt to nothing, and perhaps she was walking over the people who was in this house or flat or anything. Stop. You can see that she just misses out. She just misses out. And you can't trust her, you can't. And how she does it, Harry, one minute she's kissing him in front of everybody, and, looking lovingly into his eyes. The other time, she won't even see he's there. Push him away, make him look incredibly unhappy. It's up to him that he should just get lost. Oh, look at that. Aren't we so sorry? She's not sorry at all, but there's a cameraman just in the right place, not taking it from the back and seeing the face of the person who's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, Angela, it was interesting looking at the body language of the pair of these two over the weekend, because I wasn't convinced. My feeling is that they were all over each other because they had been so stung by the very valid criticism, Angela, of their previous appearance in New York, where their true colours had came out. This very much felt like, we've got to go, we've got to prove to the world everything's okay again. And it's all a big game.
It's not okay, is it? It's absolutely not okay. It's a game because she wants to pretend she's such a lovely person, and she's such a lovely mother as well. She said that she rushed back for one day because she just had to look at her children. Now, if you work out how long it would take her to get there and how long it would take her to get back, it would be a rather odd timing to see a small child who was probably asleep. Did she wake up? Archie to say, hello, mummy's here, must run and go away. I mean, she makes up all these nonsense things, absolute nonsense things. And look how sad Harry looks in that picture. Well, she's as happy as can be.
Exactly.
And, to give him a nudge, come on, smile now. She manipulates him and decides how she wants to be.
Well, yes, and of course, he was still smarting at that point over her stunt in Paris. But isn't it so funny, Angela? That was only a couple of weeks ago. But she has this new strategy going on, and it's a directionless strategy, but it's sort of working at the moment. I describe it as the flood the zone strategy. And it's like, there's so much craziness, so much madness. What it means is people quickly move on from some of these appalling stunts. But we might move on, but we don't forget that she's done them. And what's been interesting to me, Angela, is to see how the Hollywood elite are now turning on her. Billy Bush, huge name in America, former host of Today and Access Hollywood. He's launched his new independent show, Hot Mics, and is just totally tearing Meghan to pieces. But as I say, he's not the usual suspect to do so. Watch this.
Please stop giving her awards about most powerful women. You're not a powerful woman. You married a guy. You got the Bush is powerful. Maybe you got the guy to leave his family. You got him to leave the royal family. There's power in there, but this is too much. I can't remember is it Fortune magazine or something that's fawning over her now? Listen to this, speaking of sincerity.
I used to teach gift wrapping at Paper Source and advanced gift wrapping. So, all of those things that you do as an auditioning actor, that's not the full circle I was expecting, but here we are.
Yeah, you had a lot of odd jobs. Froyo was another one.
Oh, yeah. Humphrey Yogurt, that was my first job. And, when I used to do calligraphy, I used to do it for so many celebrity weddings and hotels. And that was in between auditions. And at the time, I don't know why I didn't think to just buy a glove, but you don't want the natural oils from your hands to get on the beautiful paper. So I would just put a white tube sock on my hand. Write all these very fancy cards
then
for people.
I became powerful.
Well, a long way from the white tube socks on your hands.
When I was just an actress auditioning. I was just an actress auditioning, and now I'm a major entrepreneur. No, you're not an entrepreneur. The show is terrible. It's canceled. It's not happening again. You didn't get a second season. You shot one long season and cut it in half. Please be authentic, and I will be the first to embrace you and just be you, not this version you're forcing down people's throats. Authenticity, that's it. That's all we can do.
Angela, he's so right, isn't he?
Oh, it's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And he's absolutely spot on, because it's strange people now can't stand it. Who wants to know about her paper and how she does a bit of writing with one hand and she should have put a glove on? She's got the same story that she's told. I think I've heard it about 20 times. All the people she speaks to, the same way she talks about telling that she wanted a washing up place, stops talking about just boys because it was girls too. She did that when she was 11, pretending it was just her, but it was the whole class. So she even nicked that as what a good idea person she was, and she was a real female operational person. And it's all nonsense. She doesn't know how to really talk very nicely with people, so she just tells them about herself, minus details that nobody wants to know anything about. You can't reach her because she's not saying anything warm and emotional. She's either moaning or she's laughing at herself because she's so funny. There's nothing there. It's an empty inside that she fills with, little snacks.
Angela, did you notice Meghan's voice in that video that Billy Bush shared? And Princess Carmichael has been looking into the evolution of Meghan Markle's speaking voice. And they write that from 2013 to 2025, her voice has gotten much deeper and newscaster, and she seems to have adopted some weird accent. This woman has no idea who she really is. Everything is a performance and a facade. I'd love for her to be just real for 90 seconds, but I don't think she's capable. And it's really interesting, Angela, actually. And I give credit to Princess Carmichael for this, because what they've done is actually compare her voice and how it's changed over the past decade and a half. And I think this really is indicative, actually, because it's indicative of how she has created a false persona. Watch this. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, it's true. Not some weird, trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits, but if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge. You can tell by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store, and you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. And many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. When Dr. Gundry came to this realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful, it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and which one isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that important question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. The video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken or by clicking the link in the description box below. So that's getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules has helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
Rachel is the paralegal at the firm, but she's sassy and intelligent, incredibly confident, has this encyclopedic knowledge of the law, and is incredibly valued at the firm. She's also the love interest for Mike Ross, and we ended season 2 with a bit of a saucy finale, definitely for Rachel. And so we're starting season 3 now, which will begin airing July 16th. It's pretty exciting. You know, when Dove reached out to me, it was so, as I was saying to you, it's just so easy for me to jump on board with this because their whole campaign right now for self-esteem is inspiring confidence in young women. And I think it's timely right now, the conversation of feminism and women feeling empowered, but to plant those seeds starting really young. And
any job, if you're working with the same people that closely for now 5 years of your life, yes, of course we're a family. We've grown up together. The people that I'm closest with on the show, though, are Rick and Sarah, who played Donna and Lewis.
You look at the traction, especially that's happened in this past year with this being at the forefront of conversation. It's a really hot topic right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how fantastic that it's making dinner table conversation, that we're talking about it, that it's something that people aren't ashamed to talk about anymore. And I think that, you know, even I go to Rwanda again on Monday. I don't think that I would call it a whirlwind in terms of our relationship. Obviously, there have been layers attached to how public it has become. It's about being authentic. And if you look back at anything that I've said, it's really interesting because it often what ends up being inflammatory, it seems, is people's interpretation of it. But if you listen to what I actually say, trajectory to look like. But I think, you know, and all the contracts and logistics surrounding it have really set up what the future can look like together. And being mindful of the movements of that. There are a lot of surprises still with the series that we'll be able to share later this year, obviously season 2 coming. But I think what's really exciting about it is it's the evolution of the partnership that we've had with Netflix for so many years. Is there a business here? And I think it was probably most people's assumption that if I was going to go into business, it would be fashion or beauty. But those 5 years at home, I wasn't running around wearing beautiful outfits. I was probably in Birkenstocks and sweats like the rest of us, especially during COVID, or just barefoot at home. But I was making a lot of jam.
Angela, I still just laugh on that final Fortune clip when she says, oh, you know, I was thinking of getting into fashion and beauty, and the audience literally laugh at her. Like, what? What are you on? But I mean, Angela, there has been a change, and I believe this is purposeful. She's a character actress. We don't know the real Meghan Markle in public because we know what the real Meghan Markle is like behind the scenes. And I think her speaking voice is part of this character that she's developed. But what do you make of it?
Yes, I think partly it's who you're surrounded by and your voice changes a little bit. But she does this because she wants to act. She is acting. She's acting to tell people how she is. And so it's all changing all the time. She wants to hear herself doing something slightly different. And all these words are being authentic. Excuse me. She's not the most unauthentic person I've seen. She's absolutely not in any way. She just behaves according to what she feels that she's in the scene that she's in. You know, open the curtains, scene 3, and so she starts saying something about herself, and then she's looking at the person who's asking her questions. Then she'll do it in another way, that I'm very superior to you, my dear. You know, but I will say it simply. You know, it's all phony.
Totally. The other thing that was phony, which people have done great detective work, Angela, is when
amazing what they do.
I know.
Amazing.
I love this crew. Is that she boasted about, you know, the time that she was at home, Angela, and has completely rewritten this era of her life as if she wasn't doing anything, as if she wasn't trying to get attention and everything over COVID. And what's really interesting is juxtaposing her words over the pictures of what she was actually doing over that period. Watch this.
Assumption that if I was going to go into business, it would be fashion or beauty. But those 5 years at home, I wasn't running around wearing beautiful outfits. I was probably in Birkenstocks and sweats like the rest of us, especially during COVID, or just barefoot at home.
So my family had just moved to California. We were staying in our friend's home. And because it was the pandemic, I kept ordering boxed hair dye. And I thought, I'm going to look just like she does on the box. And instead, it was this very inky, almost Elvira-esque
So, Angela, just another lie.
Oh dear. But she laughs at what she's saying. That's another thing she does. So she encourages other people to laugh. But I'm afraid nowadays that they don't, because they don't think it's funny at all. Also, she spent a fortune on her clothes for the first 2 years after her wedding. She just, I think, twice as much as what Princess did. She She's such a liar, isn't she? She's just
Totally.
such a liar.
Total liar. Absolutely. But what's interesting, Angela, is Alison Boshoff in the Daily Mail this week actually looked in behind the scenes to this new strategy from her team. And, I've been very honest about what I think this is. It is completely based on just flooding the zone, throwing everything up against the wall, seeing if anything works. But this reporting from Alison Boshoff, I enjoyed it actually because it backs all of that up. Here's the headline: insane, thoughtless, and directionless. The Sussexes are spiraling. Let me take you through this report. Alison Boshoff writes, while I've been told the Duchess is intent on building up her relationship with the venerable Condé Nast magazine Vogue and does have a fashion magazine cover in the pipeline, it is not with Vogue, but it is rather with Harper's Bazaar. That will be her first major magazine cover, of course, since Vanity Fair. And the meetings with Vogue are about resetting relations after that fallout with Edward Enninful and Anna Wintour. But well-placed insiders tell the Daily Mail the sudden burst of activity, which included an appearance at Fortune, doesn't quite indicate anything thought through. The source said her PR team are just putting her out there in a hopeful way without a plan. They aren't being discerning and protecting her from herself. It seems they think every media opportunity is a good one, and that's insane. There is no strategy here. It is thoughtless and directionless. One day she's in Paris at the fashion show, positioning herself in that world, and then she shows up in Washington with Fortune magazine and wants to be regarded as a female founder. But she's got nothing to launch, nothing to announce, and nothing to say. It's a mess. The Sussexes seem to be spiraling. They are throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't understand why she would do a magazine cover when she has nothing coming out. It is evident that either she isn't being advised properly or else she isn't listening. Honestly, whoever is in charge shouldn't even be putting this stuff in front of her to protect her from herself. And Angela, I thought, bullseye. That source has got it in one. This is a disaster. But it is true Meghan doesn't listen to anyone. This is her strategy. We have to stop blaming the staff, Angela, okay? The staff have tried with Meghan Markle non-stop for a decade now. Can we stop blaming the staff? Everything that we see now, all of the lack of direction, all of the reinventions, all of the failures, this is Meghan, okay? Stop blaming the staff. This is on her at this point.
This is Meghan without a product, isn't it, though? It's absolutely Meghan who hasn't got anything to sell or to say, but she thinks if she keeps on being in the public eye, then something will click. But it won't. I think she's had it now. It's very interesting because the Vogue editor, Edward Enninful, who she knew for a while, she was not on the cover, choosing very good women. And she really liked him until she didn't, because he didn't want her to change all the Vogue because it was his job. I met him actually when I had dinner with King Charles and in Scotland. And I asked him how he got on with her. He was very polite afterwards, but he didn't really say anything particularly good. But she's trying to get him now together because he's doing another magazine, and she'll try and sort of schmooze him to see if she can be in it. But I think he'll be very careful. He won't want her telling him what to do. Absolutely not. People forget about that she's absolutely hopeless, and they start a little bit and then they realize, oh, not this woman, she doesn't know anything and she wants to just do it all her own.
Totally. And the strategy is not working. I'm just looking forward to when she has to do this, Angela, with no Duchess title whatsoever and no princess either. I cannot wait for that.
Won't work, will it?
No,
won't work.
absolutely
About time
not.
too.
About time to indeed. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, the biographer of Prince Harry and Queen Camilla. Thank you so much. And if you do want first access to our uncancelled after show here on Substack for all the exclusive royal news that you won't get from the mainstream media or the Royal Rota, then sign up to my Substack. The address is www.outspoken.live. So every weekday, you get twice the amount of content that you've just seen. The difference is you'll get no advertising whatsoever, and you can watch it live or on demand via the Substack platform, where you can communicate with me directly as a paid monthly or annual subscriber to. Honestly, Substack is a free speech community really focused on avoiding big tech cancellation, avoiding lawfare. So the best way that you can support Outspoken and everything I do is by signing up to the Substack at www.outspoken.live. I would be ever grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.